Let me start today with Zycus' vision. And why is the vision important to you? Because you have either invested in Zycus or you're planning to invest in Zycus. So it's really important for you to know what is our roadmap, what is our strategy, what is it we are planning to be in the next 3 to 5 years. Coming to vision, how do we really map out a vision? It's very difficult being a fortune teller and saying what the future is really going to be. One of the things which has worked very well for Zycus is to look at patterns in the past, because patterns keep on repeating. And once we see those patterns, we can make educated guesses about what the future is really going to be. So we started Zycus in 1998. In fact, came in the procurement solutions business around in 2000. So we have been around for 12, 13 years in the space. And when I look back, I see distinct phases of evolution for procurement solution providers. The first phase is in the early part of the millennium, or maybe starting even a bit earlier than in 97, 98. In fact, I think Alex, AMD, they were one of the first users of procurement solutions in 98. But that's the time when the solutions were just getting crystallized. So whether it's e-procurement, whether it's sourcing, the solutions were not clear what features should be there or what solution should be there. At that time, there were market leaders for each of those solution space. There would be someone for e-procurement, someone for sourcing, and what they did is they really helped define what the shape of the solution would be. The second half of the decade was where the market leaders really capitalized on the early start. Once they had helped define the solution, they started building on the solutions and they started getting market leaderships for each of the solutions. And the market started buying best of breed. In fact, a lot of you who have bought solutions in that time frame would have one solution for sourcing, one solution for contract management, and so on. And we have seen a clear change over the last few years. Over the last few years, especially over the last 2 years, there has been sure and steady change towards customers buying a single suite of solutions, whether it's a sourcing suite or a P2P suite. Although customers at this point are still looking at one vendor for upstream, another vendor for downstream. But looking at the patterns which have happened in the past, we're pretty sure over the next 5 to 10 years, organizations will move to getting the entire solution, whether it is e-procurement, whether it's a sourcing suite, everything from a single vendor. And that shift is going to be slow and steady, but it would happen because that's what we have seen in the past, not just in our industry, but also in other industries. And what are the market forces behind a single suite? The first is feature parity. With the passage of time, it's almost been 12, 13 years since the industry started. With the passage of time, it gives time for the major vendors to really come up with feature parity for all the solutions. And I'm talking about the major vendors because there might be some vendors, smaller ones, who would not have the funds to invest. So time is there, but funds also need to be there. But most of the major vendors are feature parity across most of the solutions. There would be a plus or minus, there'll be some differentiators and so on, but effectively there's a very narrow band of differentiation. The second thing is price affordability. How many of you in this room have bought an e-procurement solution for more than $5 million? Don't be shy to raise your hands. I know there are. So $5 million, $10 million is what people used to pay earlier on. Just for the price of maintenance, you could get a complete suite. And this is IT, so there's always a gradual downward slope of pricing. And that helps in customers, especially people who are coming in now, to look for a complete suite rather than get best of breed from different players. And the third, I think the most important one, is now customers are realizing over a period of time the value of an integrated suite. Your procurement processes are one seamless process, but your solutions are siloed over there. Now customers are realizing the value of a common master data layer, so you can get a single view of your supplier or a single view of your category, or having the ability to have a synchronized data flow. Take an RFP and flip it over there into contracts. And also analytics. Once you have a lot of applications, then you really can take a lot of action based on the intelligence you get out of the solution. So one thing we believe strongly is that the market is moving towards a single suite. That's a bet. And we are investing heavily and significantly in that, in investing for building products across the entire suite. Now, what does the market landscape look like? All of you know, I would not name names, but there was a big acquisition last year where an ERP provider bought a solution suite provider. Now, what that created is created a void. ERPs are good. There are things going in favor of ERP. There are IT departments which would want a single solution across the entire enterprises. But in every space, wherever there are ERP providers, the market always looks for an alternative. And the reason they look for an alternative is it could be cost, it could be the cumbersome nature of the solutions, it could be the agility and flexibility provided by the vendors. But there's always space for an alternative. And the acquisition has created a void, and Zycus wants to work very hard to get into the void. Not get into the void, to fill that void. No, come out. So in terms of our strategic focus areas, what are the 4 things we think customers would be looking for? I really talked to a lot of customers to get this insight. The 4 things which people look for, there are a couple of things. The first and the last ones is where the ERP vendors would be really strong. They'll have a complete suite of solutions. They'll be around for ages. But it's the middle 2, which is really the Achilles heel of some of the ERP providers, where whether it's ease of use or whether it's the responsiveness or the customer experience. So the first area I want to focus on is a comprehensive suite of products. And I mean the breadth of the products, everything which would be required in procurement, as well as the depth of the products. For that, what we have done is invest significantly. I just checked on LinkedIn. You could not figure out for the ERP providers. But amongst all the other players, we possibly have the largest engineering team working on the product solution, because there's a big breadth of solutions which we really have to cover. So we have a 170 strong engineering R&D team working on products. And what the mandate given to each and every product team is to make sure that the product which they create can compete with the best in class. So even if there's a supplier management solution, there might be an individual vendor selling only supplier management solutions. We really need to be able to match them. What we do not want to do is be what I called as a pseudo suite. And what I mean by a pseudo suite, as I mentioned, there were early market leaders who became a leader in a couple of product categories. Because the market is moving to a complete suite, some of them just fill up the gaps, with very weak solutions. Few screens. So supplier management, you put a database and you call it as a supplier management. And that just creates an uneven set of products, an unbalanced set of products. The same thing could also happen through mergers and acquisitions. You acquire different products from different companies, and it's very unbalanced over there. What we really want to focus on is invest so that we have the best of class for each of those product categories. For example, even in supplier management, we just signed a deal over there with a $300 billion organization only for supplier onboarding and supplier risk management. So when I talk about the comprehensive suite of products, I include anything and everything which would be needed by a procurement and a sourcing department, whether it's spend, sourcing, contract management, supplier management, and P2P. And like I mentioned, customers are looking to unlock the value which is there in an integrated suite of solutions. So once you have a common master data could be your common supplier master or your common category master. Once you have that, then you can really start getting more value by getting a single view of your vendors. So I take pleasure in launching one of the features which really had a great deal of interest when I announced that it's going to be in the roadmap at last year's Horizon. This is one view. The principle is very simple, but it's very difficult to achieve. If you're going to a meeting with a supplier, let's say you're sitting across the table with Dell, you really want to have a single view of the supplier. You want to know how much you've spent with them. You need to know what is the supplier performance, maybe in other divisions of yours, because the last thing you want to do is give an RFP to a supplier who's rated low in supplier performance by some other geographical unit. So it's a single view of your supplier across the entire procurement process. So at this time, I'd like to call upon Zach, who's our manager for solution consulting, and he'll just give a brief demo for one view.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Horizon 2013. Thank you so much, Aatish, for introducing me. What we're doing here, what Aatish has dreamed and what he has told you guys about at Horizon 2012 and now is being launched today, this is disruptive in the market. This is groundbreaking what we're doing. So we're taking the entire product suite across the entire procure-to-pay as well as the upstream products with Zycus, and we're providing data to you in one single view. So now you can imagine I've searched for a supplier. I've got data coming in from all different parts of the Zycus product suite. So if you look, I'm pulling in data from iAnalyze. I've got data coming in from iContract, as well as from supplier performance management. It's all on a single supplier report card. So to Aatish's point, I'm sitting across the conference table with one of my suppliers, and they're putting pressure on me, and they're saying, hey, we need you guys to leverage more spend, and by the way, our margins, we're having pressure, so we need to increase your prices. Well, you can look at them and say, well, I can see exactly what we've spent. I can see all of our category commodity information that we're purchasing from you. I've got access to your contracts. In addition, I can see your performance plans. I can see your scorecards. All the data that you see here is drillable, so I can drill down into the data layers underneath, and as the video picks back up, you can have these conversations with your suppliers and say, sure, we'll leverage more spend with you guys. However, we need you to improve performance in these areas, and we need you to give us better prices on these top commodities that we're purchasing for you. So gentlemen, can you start the video back up? So this is revolutionary, this is groundbreaking, and this is the power of a single organic suite. We can take all of the data that resides within the Zycus application, and now we can provide it to you in a powerful and meaningful way, giving you the ability, as you see on the screen here, cross-product data views, all built and provided to you right out of the box. So the OneView product is going GA next month in November, and then we're also releasing our mobile applications as well. So Aatish said, you're going to be able to sit across with your iPad, with your Google Pad, etc., sit across the conference table from your suppliers and say, have these types of conversations. So now we're going to have a quick demo of the OneView product on a mobile device, and you'll see how quick and easy this is to navigate. This is actually being done from a miniature smart device. This is even smaller than an iPad, and you can see I can have access to everything that I need to see about my suppliers. I've got summary information. I've got detail type of information. I can see in a single view. I can see down to the dollar how much I have spent with this supplier across any time horizon that I define. It can be the last year, the last 18 months, etc. Can see for several months, a 3-month view, quarterly, month-over-month view, yearly view. All of this data I have access to. I can see my top 5 categories here listed out. I'm seeing data that says, okay, I've spent $1.6 million on this category. I've spent $1.5 million on that category. Mr. Supplier, how are you going to provide me with better service as well as better prices given the amount of money that I'm spending with you? So this is an unbelievable tool. And this is something that we are so pleased and so proud to be rolling out to you guys. So as we finish up the demo here, the guys are going to be available to demo these products to you today and tomorrow. So if you want to see this on a smart device, you want to see this on a laptop device, we're going to be available to show this to you. And we're very, very excited to be here. Thank you all for coming to Horizon.
Thanks, Zach. Yeah, just continuing on the presentation, I mentioned the 4 strategic focus areas for us. The second one is something which we have been passionate from day one, ease of use. And you'll realize that when you see the Zycus solutions or use the Zycus solutions over there, ease of use is extremely important for us. It's important to have complex features, but it's really important from an adoption perspective to make sure that your product is very easy to use. And one of the things we always try to benchmark, we're definitely not at the level of B2C, but when we started to build our e-procurement solutions, I asked customers, they said it should be like Amazon. So that's the message given to the team. And again, we hope to live up to that particular target over there once people start using our e-procurement solution, because at home or at work, people expect the same. You really don't want to have a big difference between that. And as we saw, OneView is the first thing which we started on the mobile device, but we'll continue with that. First, we'll add more and more analytics. And the second is approval workflows and approvals, because that's something you do on the go over there. So mobility is something which we are going to continuously add more and more features. When we do an analysis, after every customer win, we go and ask, why did you select Zycus? Besides the product and ease of use, one of the things which comes up consistently is the feedback they get from references regarding our responsiveness or our customer experience. And that's something which is very important for us, because customer focus, it's the most important value at Zycus. And even in the Gartner's Magic Quadrant, among the leaders, the feedback we got was we were possibly among the highest over there for customer experience. And one of the things we really do to ensure that the customer experience stays is to treat all customers the same, whether big or small. And this is for a selfish reason, I'll tell you. What happens is when a vendor really starts giving service to a customer, and asking the customer to prove his worth to him, then arrogance creeps into the organization. The arrogance creeps over that today a customer might be big, tomorrow that customer is small. Once the arrogance creeps in, then the service level goes down for everyone, whether it's large organizations or whether it's small organizations. Another thing which we really did is ensure customer success. Customer success happens not during implementation, but it happens after the product goes live. Earlier, what we used to do is we used to measure customer satisfaction at go live. How are you? Happy, 9 on 10, 10 on 10. After 6 months, you ask, it goes down. And the reason is the rubber meets the road when the users really start using the system. So even for whether it's the implementation team or the operations team, we have a delayed outcome measurement. So we have a 120-day success plan, and we measure at the end of 120 days. The incentives, all those are linked to the 120 days. And even from a training perspective, we do a lot of training. Zycus University is working well. We do a lot of training with our customers, even one-on-one training. But then we put the onus also on the user. After 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, we'll ask you, after the training, was it useful to you? Is the adoption increased? And we'll measure your adoption. Because adoption is absolutely key over there to ensuring that an organization embraces a solution. And last, when you're investing in a solution suite from a single vendor, it's a much higher risk for you than buying a single solution or a couple of solutions. So sustainability of the vendor is very critical. I'm sure all of you had cases when your vendor got acquired by someone and it could disrupt your business over there. Zycus, we had venture capital funding earlier. We bought the VCs back through cash flow generated internally, so there's no outside funding. That there's no pressure for us to exit, and neither is there any inclination for us to exit or get acquired over there, because we think this industry has a great future. There's a lot of room available for us to grow for the next decade. So sustainability is absolutely key for us as well as for the customer, because with that, you get a long-term trusted partner, and that allows us to continuously invest in the solutions for the long term. We almost quadrupled the engineering team over the last 4 years as we started building out all the solutions, including e-procurement. Now, Zycus philosophy, everybody has a strategy. One thing we have to do is always put the strategy to the test of results. I just want to share a couple of cases where we did suite replacement, a complete replacement of an existing solution. We have multiple customers who buy our suites, but the reason why we take replacements as a benchmark is because these customers have used some solution in the past. They have a certain level of expectation, and they do not want the new solution to be at the same level. They want it to take it to the next level. The first one is an Ariba suite replacement. It's for spend, sourcing, contract. And it was one of the things which really was mind-boggling was the scale. In fact, I asked them to double-check. They're doing 20,000 events a year all across the globe, 3,000 users using the contract solution, sourcing solution. Another one which we just recently closed is an mTaurus suite replacement. And this is, again, for the sourcing solution suite. And there is a lot of challenge over here from, again, a scalability perspective, almost 10,000 questions. I'm sure the vendors are going crazy after that, but 10,000 questions on an RFP. I just want to close off with what's coming in terms of a product roadmap. Last year, we had mentioned that a common master data, a common supplier master, and one view on top of that was a roadmap. Where is it we are going in the future? Now that we have a common master data, we want to build on it and have more and more analytics. Because software gives you process efficiency, but only through analytics can you get intelligence to take decisions, strategic decisions about how to get more value. One of the things analysts have been talking for a long time, Jason has written a lot about it in terms of predictive procurement analytics. And when we talk, this is something which can be made practical also. How can you really use data primarily within the system, because you really can't forecast, or we can't forecast what the price of oil is going to be over there. But within the system, there's a lot of information, and then you can do a lot of predictive analytics in terms of what are those contracts which are at risk. Can you intelligently identify which of those contracts should I be looking at over there, which might not have certain terms. Just as an example, there's one module which we started building already, which is forecasting. I'm sure all of you have your annual budgeting, where you sit down either with finance or you sit down with the businesses and come up with, help, not come up with, but you help the business owners in defining the budget. So given there's a lot of historical data within the system, seasonality, what has been spent over there over the past few years, you can do regression analysis and also take some parameters. For example, on the right, you'll see whether it's what's the inflation expected to be, or what's the demand going to be, and how does the demand trickle back into whatever you need to buy. So this is something which is practical predictive procurement analytics. And we'll continue building that data mining, predictive procurement analytics across all the products. That's something you'll see continuously rolling out over the next year. So with this, I'd like to close. Okay, I'd like to thank everyone and have great learning and also great fun at the conference. Thank you.